Everybody to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're over in Novi at Feldman Chevrolet on a Victory Monday, and what a victory. It's not just a Victory Monday. Not all Victory Mondays are made equal. This Victory Monday is very different, Sam Flannel.
Yes.
The Lions were shot, and that's how it seemed like early on in the game, Sam. Two of their first two possessions, interception. And that's how the game was trending. But you were there in person. By the way, we got a full crew with us. JB, Lucas Klott's back with us. My man, the ball knowers back in our presence. But Sam Flannel, you were there in person. So what was your perspective of the game from start to finish?
I mean, it was certainly an emotional roller coaster. A lot of air was taken out of the room when Jared Goff threw all of his interceptions. Certainly, I think at the lowest point in the game was when Justin Fields picked up that big 3rd and 14, that run where he did that dance afterwards, which looks pretty prophetic right now in the negative way for the Bears. And honestly, at one point, I'm kind of ashamed of some of the Lions fans. When the Bears went ahead 26-14, a lot of Lions fans were kind of filing out of the building. And it's like, whoa. No, for real, Lucas. That's the thing, though. There's a reason why they're the Bears and we're the Lions now.
Yeah, that would have been a game where it would have been opposite. The Lions would be the team that's up, and they lose. It was the opposite. Even when they were down, Jared Goff, we could talk about his start to the game, but it's more about how he finished, too. That victory was impressive, and Jared kind of spoke on it yesterday, too. This is what good teams do. You find a way to win, despite how bad you've been playing. And really, for Jared, what's significant about it is that was his worst 3 quarters in a Detroit Lions uniform. He would admit that. But what's interesting is this is why Jared's growing as a player, because it was the most interceptions he's had in a game dating back to L.A., but during the days in L.A., Jared would have just laid down. And most young quarterbacks would have. But this Jared Goff is different. In the 2-minute drill, he was excellent, and it led to a Lions victory. But Lucas Klotz, how you feeling on this Victory Monday? How you feeling?
Oh, it was great. I wasn't able to watch it live yesterday. I was on the plane back, but I'm in awe. When I was seeing that the Bears, the way they were going, especially in the end of that third quarter, I did not think that the Lions would win, especially with, again, we talk about Jared Goff in the past, but yesterday, a dog was born. A dog was born. 3 interceptions, doesn't matter. 10 for 11, goes down the field, gets D-Mon a touchdown against his former team. Jared Goff, my dad, he's the last person to buy a Lions jersey. He's an old school guy. He's just been through the ringer. He's like, yeah, Lions are on. It's probably going to be another loss, blah, blah, blah. He's one of those type of people. And I got off the plane, and I have never heard my 55-year-old father scream in excitement more for a Jared Goff jersey. I don't remember the last time he's owned a jersey. But this man wants a Jared Goff jersey, and if you got fans like that saying something, it means something. It truly does.
Yeah, it's funny. My dad, he's 60, and he had the same thing. He called me at halftime. He goes, man, this team is screwed. They're going to lose this game. And that was just my dad's fandom coming out. It's like that, especially if you've been a Lions fan for a while, it's always there. You might be confident with this team, and that's okay. You have that feeling of, uh-oh, here we go. And then he calls me at the end of the game, and because I told him, like, Dad, there's still 2 more quarters left. Like, this team, we'll see how they finish. That's what matters.
Lead.
Yeah, well, it's just how they were playing. Like I said, Jared.
I know, but all right, go ahead.
Because were the people excited that Jared had 2 picks at halftime?
Well, well, no, but they had a halftime lead. It wasn't like everybody in the in the stands was freaking out at halftime. It was more when the Bears were kind of pulling away for a moment in the fourth quarter when they started freaking out.
Well, at halftime, the fact that they were even close with the Bears probably was his problem. He's like, this team, if they're not consistent, they're not going to win much. And he called me after the game. He goes, yeah, you were right. They're a pretty good team. I'm like, see, Dad, it's more about how you finish. But there's a lot of storylines to get to for this game specifically. Obviously, we're going to get to the J-Mo stuff. Trust me, we're going to get to the J-Mo stuff. We'll get to Aiden Hutchinson as well, 8:45, because he closed another game for the Detroit Lions. Forced fumble, you called it, Sam. Forced fumble and a sack to close the game. And it's interesting. You speak kind of on David Montgomery, which we'll get to the backfield in the second hour, because we're going to talk about Jameer and David Montgomery, because they are, again, the best backfield. And it's funny because I knew this would happen for David, but Jameer got to the 1-yard line. He came right off the field. Who came on? David Montgomery. We saw it happening. It happened against the Chargers the opposite way. He's told Jameer to stay on the field against the Bears. Come on, David. Come get this game-winning touchdown. We knew that was going to happen.
Bears
we called
fans
it.
were probably so mad.
Oh, yeah. You kidding me?
In that first half, like, Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edward both had interceptions. So their free agent signings look like they're producing. And then the one free agent signing that you let go. I don't care. After yesterday, I said it in the chat. I think David Montgomery is the single best free agent signing from the 2022 offseason. 2023, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
I can't think of a more meaningful one right now.
I mean, you talk about, David Montgomery, Cam Sutton, but David has been like I believe Lomas calls him the cog in the engine, which is like a great term for him. Like when they don't have him, you notice his absence, and when they do, everything runs a lot smoother. It sucks they couldn't go to him more because they were, the Bears were putting him in some compromising positions, or really the Lions were putting themselves in compromising positions. But Dave Montgomery, Sam Flannel, another big game from him. But we'll get to those guys later. It was a big game. It was a big day for those guys.
I mean, the good news is when we're talking about free agents that the Lions signed in the offseason, you can say David Montgomery, Lucas, and you have a very, very compelling case. But if you wanna make a case for Cam Sutton or Graham Glasgow, you can as well. That's because all three of them have performed, especially for what their roles, what were needed of them, exemplary this year. Exemplary.
Yeah, no doubt about it. People chiming in. Extreme Shaft, the Lions have hit the 8-win mark. I'm officially on the bandwagon. Go Lions. And guys, and I'm going to get more into this next segment because I got a whole, little dialogue here I want to talk to the people about. But you control your destiny at this point. Like, you're 8-2. The Eagles are 8-1, and they play the Chiefs tonight at Arrowhead. Like
Campbellhead.
This is real. Like, this is real, guys. You're in the race. And that was a game that, again, you really don't know the significance of it till the end of the season. Like, it was kind of the Seattle game last year. There's a lot of games that you look at, but you're like, damn, that Seattle game, that could have been the difference in making the playoffs. Well, we're not talking playoffs. We're talking number 1 seed. That could be the difference. But last night, it helped the Vikings lost, huh?
Oh, yeah, they did. Shout out.
I don't even know if that game was. I don't even know. They both really lost. Both the Broncos and the Vikings lost. That game was ugly.
Oh, okay. You can't say that the Broncos actually lost that game, so they're both credited with losses.
Okay, technically they did not both lose.
You know what?
I'm saying it wasn't pretty.
Shout out Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, by the way. They've saved the season.
Yes.
I mean, to be honest, the defense has improved greatly as well. But they helped the Lions out yesterday because it was really, really close. And I hate to even think of this scenario of the Lions losing and the Vikings winning. In each of those games, it looked like at some point that result was going to happen, and we'd be having a whole different conversation today. But the good news is we're living in reality, and the Lions have pulled so far ahead that I think right now it's officially over. And the Lions, they snatch victory out of the jaws of defeat, and sometimes you got to have those kind of games because if they would have lost to the Bears, it would have been an absolute disaster, at least, and we would have been all just so deflated today. And that's why yesterday's win was so satisfying, because it was more relief than anything. Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, it's like more W is a W. It's never felt more real after that.
Yes.
Yeah, despite how it started, Jared Goff, Mike Payton tweeted this out. First 55 minutes of the ball game, Jared Goff was 13 of 24 for 121 yards, 1 TD, and 3 picks. The first 55 minutes. The final 4 minutes and 15 seconds, he was 10 for 11, 115 yards, and a TD. So it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And Jared Goff, he led them down the field with the help of other playmakers, like a quick score from, I don't know, a guy named Jameson Williams. That was kind of important. But it was important.
Game play.
And then Hutch. Yeah, there's a lot of plays. And you had Amon-Ra St. Brown, everyone chipping in. Laporte didn't have his best. He didn't have a great game. But, hey, it's okay. When they needed him, he made catches. So that's all that matters there. I'll tell you what. We'll go to break in a little bit. I want to get some of these comments. Mike Reed says Chiefs will lose tonight. Taylor Swift won't be there. It's kind of fair.
At least we won't have to see her 30 fucking times.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, you don't have 30 different camera angles.
You don't have to hear about there's Swift and Kelsey on both sides of the ball today. Look, shut up.
Yeah, well, look at this comment. Anton, excuse me if I mispronounced her name. We'll just call him Miller. Tell me the difference between Goff and Burrow. Very similar games, nearly identical strengths and weaknesses. Why isn't he in the same conversation? Well, here's the trigger. I think is Burrow. He's not completely off. We just think Burrow's better because of what he's shown us, especially in clutch moments.
Where Goff is good, Burrow a lot of the times is elite.
Yeah,
Burrow
exactly.
has a better arm, he has better mobility. And
it's not like this far insane gap, but there's just I don't want to do this today. Let's celebrate Goff.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
not even trying to
Okay,
debate where he ranks. It's F all that. You have a franchise QB. That's what we took away.
But he ain't Burrow.
And I think when people early on in the stream, it was funny because we all did the stream yesterday, and people in the chat were like, "SOL, this team stinks." I even saw a comment, and I don't even want to name who it was, but it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It said, "We don't deserve to win this division. We don't deserve to make the playoffs." And like I get it. It's fanatic. I get that, but that's ridiculous. And now when they finished, everyone's like, "Oh well, they're a great team, and we love them." And you see how it was an emotional roller coaster for a lot of Lions fans. They were pissed off, and rightfully so. They weren't playing well, but man, oh man. It feels better when you win games like that,
Sure.
And I think Jared said it. It feels better when you play bad and win than play bad and lose, and that was the storyline there.
Well, that's the thing. You're not always going to play your best. This is the NFL. You're going to have to overcome from time to time. And even had the Lions lost that game, you still couldn't have said, "Oh, they don't deserve to win the division. They don't deserve to make the playoffs," because even if they would have lost, they still would have had the fast track with a great opportunity to right the wrongs this Thursday on Thanksgiving. But now the good news is we have the opportunity to have 2 victory shows in 1 week, which is we've already actually done that before. Those are the type of weeks that I enjoy the most, and honestly, I think we're going to get it.
And it's
2
cool.
divisional games too.
Yes, and they're undefeated now, right now in their division, so it's big time. They're 2-0. But Sam, it's good because against the Ravens, we were actually here too, and they didn't play till Sunday, so that was the bad part. You're like, man, they got to wait a whole week to play. They struggled, they still won, which is big, but they can get right over it. They move right on to the Packers. Jared Goff has a chance to rebound, and now they got the Packers at home for Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's in the Lions' hands to go 3-0. All right, I'll tell you what. We'll go to break. When we come back, we'll get into our takeaways from the game itself and much more. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Lady Jane's.
Absolutely. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. I go to Lady Jane's, get these A+ haircuts, and you can get them too if you go to Lady Jane's as well. And you can go for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked!
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
With 18 locations, this is Feldman Dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest to you. We're here in Novi doing a show here. That's where I got my car. They hooked me up after mine got smashed in my driveway. Yes, you heard that correctly. 16-year-old kid did it. But regardless, hey, we're back. And they hooked me up, and they took care of me. Francis actually took care of me, and he took care of, I believe, someone else at Woodward Sports. I'm trying to think of it, but he's taking, yes, Booner. Thank you. He's took care of Booner as well. Come over to Feldman. They'll take care of you. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. Call Woodward Sports Live, Woodward Sports Network Live from Feldman Chevrolet every other Monday in Novi like we are today.
Let's go, boys.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Man, it's a Victory Monday. Very special Victory Monday. And there's a lot to get to takeaway-wise. I know we got a lot of different storylines we're going to cover individually. But first, I want to start off with just some of our takeaways because I think my first thing, and the first thing I wrote down here in my notes were that was a game simply the Detroit Lions were never supposed to win. They were not supposed to win that ball game from how they were playing. Yes, they finished well, but look at the time of possession, guys. If you look at the stat sheet, They're not supposed to win that game. Bears controlled the time of possession 40 minutes to 19.
Really?
They had the ball double the Detroit Lions, double the time limit the Detroit Lions did. Their game plan was very simple. The Bears said, we're going to keep this Lions offense on the sideline and run the football. Well, guess what? In half the time, we scored more than you. So, it's cute, but it doesn't work. And that's the problem. Even with them shooting themselves in the foot, isn't that crazy?
That was the trap
double
game,
the time.
I think. That was the trap game. They were able to find a way to avoid the trap game and overcome it. Because to your point, even on special teams, was it Craig Reynolds who had the kickoff fumble on the kickoff? Yep. You're able to overcome that inside, and that was the trap game, and they dodged it this year, I think.
Think about it. They had 40 minutes to your 19 time of possession. You had 4 turnovers to their 1 turnover. Like the turnover battle, time of possession, everything was going against the Detroit Lions. And the way the offense and the defense, to be honest with you, were struggling early on, it was concerning. Even the people at the watch party, the fans watching, I'm sure at the arena at some point later in the third quarter, you're sitting there going, uh-oh, we could lose this game. And this is a game that probably not a lot of Lions fans, if any, thought they would lose. But, hey, this is what good teams do. I believe good teams mimic the city they're in and the coach, the mentality of the city, mentality of the coach. The Lions do that. Blue-collar grit, you've heard all that stuff before, never quitting till the clock hits 0. That's real with this Lions team.
Ooh,
like you look at San Francisco, more flashy finesse. Like usually the team does mimic the city they're in. Well, guess what? Detroit mimics the city they're in, and they mimic their head coach. And we can talk all about taking kneecaps. We could talk all about never quitting. We could talk all about grit, but they show it. That's the difference. They don't just talk about it. They show it. And that's significant. Like, again, they won a game, Sam. They were not supposed to win. Everything was going against them, and that's what good teams do. But they got things to work on, but they know that as well as we do. So I don't want to sit here and say everything's perfect. But and I said this last segment, you may never know how important this win was until the end of the season. Mm-hmm. First seed, how the first seed shapes up, the number 1 seed. This game could be the difference. And last year, the Lions lost a couple of those games early on, but guess what? This year's different. They're 8-2, and this is the first time in my lifetime I've at least seen a team like this. And I know a lot of people can relate to that. You're in control of your division, even more in control. Vikings lost yesterday, and more than that, you're competing with for the 1 seed. Like, this is real. And the Eagles have a chance to lose tonight on the road. Like, it's crazy from where we were from the Ravens game. Everyone's freaking out. Is this team a fraud? You got Stephen A. Smith lying on camera. And now they're 8-2 with a chance now to be tied with the Eagles record-wise if they lose tonight to the Chiefs. It's a great position they're in. It's real right now.
Oh, it's most certainly real. It's more than real. If one of my takeaways from yesterday's game, and it doesn't just go for yesterday's game, it goes for this stretch of football that the Lions have been playing. Did you guys know? I think you guys probably do, because this is an insane stat. In the Lions' last 20 games that they have played, they are a ridiculous, almost unheard of 16-4. That is all-time spectacular. They've been basically playing at a 1 seed in a conference level for the last 20 games. Absolutely unbelievable. And that is why, to go along with yesterday's win, to go along with some of the wins they've had early on in the year and last year, the Lions are going to get one of the greatest compliments you can get from me about a team. The Lions are inevitable. It doesn't matter what goes on in games. You just think that they're going to win. There have been 2 teams, and I know I'm comparing them to some really, really good teams, but you also have to remember that I watch the Lions really, really close because, I work for the network and I'm a fan. There's only 2 teams in my lifetime that I see as inevitable. The Tom Brady, Bill Belichick Patriots, and the Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not saying that the Lions are up there with them, but it just seems like no matter what happens in a game, they are going to find a way to win. And believe it or not, a lot of you aren't going to believe this, but I promise it's the case. When they managed to hold the Bears to a field goal to make it 26-14, didn't allow them to pick up another first down and run some more clock, I was still relatively confident because the Lions are inevitable, and the Bears are the absolute opposite. They're inevitably going to lose. At least that's what these last couple years of football has kind of showed, that the Bears, when it comes to clutch moments, they pucker. When the Lions comes to clutch moments, they stand and deliver, and that's actually what they did. Because even though it's the Bears, I know the Bears are terrible. I know that loss drops them to 3-8. And in their last couple of seasons, they're like, what are they, 6 for 6 out of their last 25 or something like that? Absolutely terrible. It doesn't matter. It is still the NFL. The Lions lost the turnover battle 4-1. As Jeff Iafrate already said, the Lions lost the time of possession battle 19 minutes and 36 seconds to 40 minutes and 24 seconds. Jared Goff threw 3 interceptions. Justin Fields threw 0. Justin Fields ran for over 100 yards and threw a 39-yard touchdown pass to DJ Moore. And was
couple great throws.
Of course, and he was relatively efficient the whole game. Definitely for the vast majority of a game, definitely outplayed Jared Goff. But it just didn't matter because when it came time to winning time, the Lions delivered and the Bears did not. Because obviously once they got down 26-14, they drove right down the field for a quick score. They scored with 2 minutes and 59 seconds left in the game, still had a couple timeouts, still had the 2-minute warning, and that obviously J-Mo made a big play. We'll talk more about that later. I know you guys are kind of waiting for that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. And then when the Bears had a chance to get a first down and salt the game away, 2 runs up the middle, basically no gain, long pass, incomplete, gave it right back to the Lions. And, of course, the Lions went right back down and scored again. And as I've always said, what have I said about Justin Fields? He has never had a clutch moment in his life. If there's going to be a poorly timed turnover, Justin Fields is going to make it. And I know that there were only 29 seconds left when the Bears got the ball back. They were down by 3. But for some quarterbacks, that's enough time to drive down and kick a field goal. But that did not happen for the Bears. Aiden Hutchinson closes down the game, gets a strip sack safety, and it's over. I guess with all that being said, the Lions have become inevitable. They are going to find a way to win. They are like Booner's old ad for that show, that short-lived show at the beginning of the year. Hi, I'm the Lions. I don't lose.
I like it.
That's how I see this team right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, even in the NFC North, which is significant, and it seems like the NFC North, we've talked a lot about the goal for every team is to win your division. The Lions have yet to win the NFC North, and they have yet to host a playoff game at Ford Field, which is crazy. I mean, and I talked about this in the pregame show. The Lions' record against the Bears over the last, we'll go 10 games, I believe it's 4-6. The last 3 games, they're 3-0 against the Bears. And we look at divisional record, they're 5-0 or 5-1, last year, and they're 2-0 this year. So they're 7-1 over the last 2 years. This is a new era for Detroit Lions football, and I've been saying that for weeks now, but it's so true. This team is special. I mean, this organization is special. The players they have. I mean, look at how they struggled. Are there things to take away and there's things that they have to work on? Of course. I mean, the RPO was killing them yesterday. And that's a problem because you look up and you say, well, Fields is doing this. What is Hurts going to do? So, again, there's things to work on, but this team is still they're a great football team. And they show that, and they can win in many different ways. 2-minute drill, you need to go score, boom. You can go down the field and score. You got an offensive line, you want to run the football, drain the clock, dominate time of possession, they could do that. And typically they take care of the football, so it was uncharacteristic. But, Sam, you're right. Like, this is typically an organization where a lot of Lions fans that have been fans for a long time, they're waiting on the ball to drop. It's not the case.
Yeah.
Like, even now going forward, it's going to be a little different. Yeah, will there still be a little bit of SOL and people? Of course there will be because it's hard for those guys, people to get over that. But there's also a part of it where even if they're down, you're like, I've seen this before.
Yep.
They're going to find a way to win these games, and it's different. It truly is. It's a new era in Lions football.
Oh, 100%. I just want to clear something up. Because that last sack fumble ended up being a safety, it didn't technically count as a turnover. I know I see some people in the chat chirping me about that. If the Lions would have recovered, if they would recover for a touchdown, it would have technically counted as a turnover, but it didn't. But for all intents and purposes, it was a turnover. But the Lions just made big-time plays in winning time. I mean, Jamison Williams made a huge one. Aiden Hutchinson made a huge one. And those are some of those first-round picks that Brad Holmes drafted, making big-time plays in big games. And the Lions, I'm not going to say that they saved their season because that sounds very, very dramatic. But what they did was I think they saved their ability to get a 1 seed. Because if you lose to the Bears, then you start thinking, if they lose to the Bears, can we really count on them to even go to New Orleans and Dallas and win? I'm not saying that that's perfect logic or it might be flawed logic, but still, you wouldn't be able to. At that point, I think the number 1 seed would have been over. But it's not over. It's not even close to over. No. In fact, I think the Lions, you could count them as the favorites for the number 1 seed at this point.
Yeah, schedule-wise, and again, they showed resiliency. They showed mental toughness, Lucas, and that's something that even your dad and my dad, this is very new territory for them. Mm-hmm. It really is.
And the thing is, it's just like all the players that you need to step up when they needed to. Maybe they haven't, to your point about Sam Laporte, maybe Sam Laporte didn't step up that whole game, but when he needed to, when his number was called, he stepped up. Aiden Hutchinson. That number 2 overall pick, he showed you exactly why he was the number 2 overall pick in that draft. He embarrassed their first-round pick that they just took this year. He pushed him in the ball and ended up – Darnell Wright, I've been saying it for a long time. He's solid, but he's an out-of-shape guy. It's just not explosive off the ball. When you put an elite edge guy like that in Aiden Hutchinson, it's just a matter of time. The Lions had the ball for 20 minutes. If they would have had that ball for a half hour, give or take, the game would have been completely different. But the fact that when they needed to step up, David Montgomery, with those 2 catches down in the last stretch of that drive, so pivotal. The fact that he was able to come and be in a receiving threat and get yards after contact in that way, and then they were able to trust both David and Jameer with under a minute left to run the ball in the red zone and not have to worry about a thing and just keep the clock going, man. It's just a different time in Detroit, like you boys are saying.
I love some of these comments. Bada bing, bada boom. I love that name. Last time the Lions were 8-2 was 1962, and Don Shula was the Lions defensive coordinator.
Wow.
Jim 3 says, no, Sam. Stats say it's not a turnover. Just like called back touchdowns don't mean anything.
What? So a safety that was technically not a turnover is the same thing as a called back touch. Come on, guys. We're in a happy mood today. I was happy about that game. I was at that game. I was as happy as can be. I cheered. I high-fived all the fans. I said hello to people who recognized me. It was kumbaya. I'm just... Why are we trying to antagonize me today? It's a good day. Come on.
Trust me,
it's a good
there'll
day.
be plenty of antagonizing once we talk JMO, which, again, we'll talk JMO at 9 o'clock. So stick around till 9. We'll get into the JMO stuff because I got I did my homework yesterday, and I wanted to come prepared because I knew today would be a big day. But, again, it really is. It was impressive, and it allows me, fans, and I'm sure people can relate to this, you just gain confidence in this team, man. And they're a great football team. They are. Despite we could argue about whatever, the trade deadline or whoever the hell, who cares? This team is good, and they're a good football team, and guys are contributing. So it's exciting. It's a new era in Lions football. Get used to it, everybody. Get used to it. All right, we'll go to break. When we come back, we'll get into how much of the Lions are a threat in the NFC. Compare them to other teams in the NFC. The San Francisco 49ers over the weekend, they beat the Bucs. Not maybe the same fashion the Lions beat the Bucs, but they still beat the Bucs, and that's all that matters to them. Brock Purdy played pretty well, but we'll talk more about that. The Eagles played tonight. We'll talk a little bit about that. And the Lions 1-seed chances, all that and more. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Dispo.
Of course. Join Braylon Edwards and the Dispo Dispensary family at their Hazel Park location tomorrow, Tuesday, November 21st, for their Thanksgiving turkey giveaway. Starting at noon, Dispo will be giving away Thanksgiving turkeys over the course of the day. All you have to do is purchase any product from Dispo Hazel Park on Tuesday afternoon, and you'll receive your turkey available while supplies last. Dispo Hazel Park is located at 634 West 9 Mile Road in Hazel Park, Michigan. Pull up, re-up, and grab your bird for Thanksgiving dinner.
Grab your bird.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then, she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That is exactly what Mark White & Associates offers. It's called the Minute-by-Minute Listing Agreement by Mark White & Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on a Victory Monday. It's the Woodward Sports Network. We're out in Feldman, Chevrolet, and Novi, having a good time, talking Lions, Bears. Man, I could get used to this.
Yes.
You know, days where we're watching the Lions and maybe we're planning. Now, I don't want to say planning, but we're expecting to some degree a therapy session on a Monday.
Yeah.
I'm expecting, okay, we're going to come in here and talk about maybe things they could have done better, optimism moving forward. No, we're talking about a victory. Like, it's an impressive victory. All over NFL YouTube, NFL Instagram, Lions are all over the place now because of what they did in the fourth quarter. It's impressive. But
Instant classic.
Moving forward, though, you look at the schedule. This schedule's enticing. We already kind of talked about that last week. But man, oh man, you win that game, which we expected them to win, maybe in a different fashion. But they won. Who cares? You're 8-2. You got Green Bay this week at home. You got New Orleans. You got Chicago again, Denver, and then Minnesota. They're going to be favored in all 5 of those games.
Every single one.
Like, could they go 15-2? I mean, yes, but I don't think they will. Something has to give. I mean, could they? I mean, at this point, I'm a believer. Like, Green Bay, I think listen, Jordan Love, you talk about the quarterback play. They've shown, I'm not going to sit here and talk about why the Jordan Love-led Packers scare me. They played decent against the Chargers, but if you watch that game.
Big Quentin Johnson drop at the end.
Yeah, dude. It was more, I would say the Chargers lost that game more than the Packers took it.
Herbert.
Yeah,
yes.
But regardless, New Orleans, Derek Carr's banged up. You got Chicago again. We've seen what they just did against Chicago with half the time of possession. You got Denver, which, I mean, even me, they're beating Denver and Minnesota. I would say that. They're just a better football team. And they got Denver at home. At Dallas is the real test, Sam. But even right now with how they're playing, I know Dallas took care of the Panthers. Congratulations. You get a gold medal for that. But this schedule looks good, Sam.
Yeah,
if fans are telling me they're going to be 15-2, I don't think you're crazy at this point. Just looking at the schedule, that would mean you think they're going to beat the Dallas Cowboys, excuse me. But everything else, man, it's lined up, Sam. It's the path to winning the NFC and going 15-2.
Remember what I said about the Lions being inevitable at this point? That is why not only can the Lions finish the season 15-2. At this point, I'm gonna put my nuts on the table and say the Lions are finishing the season 15-2. And
beating
you know what
your
that
Cowboys.
Means? They're not my. Come on, they're not my Cowboys.
I'm kidding.
It's all good. Yes, they're gonna win every single game that they are going to play the rest of the season. In these last couple of games really convinced me of that. And I understand, like we talked about, it was a 3-7 Bears team, now 3-8. But let's go back to the Chargers game. The Lions gave up 38 points and won. They gave up a touchdown on every single one of the last 5 Chargers drives and still won. So that means they played a very, very flawed game and still won. Against the Chicago Bears, did any of you think that there was any pathway, any way in the darkest, deepest depths of hell that Jared Goff would throw 3 interceptions and Justin Fields would throw 0? No. And they still won. Everything went against them to lose that game, and they still won that game. That's why they are inevitable, and their schedule is very, very light. I would say the only game that they're going to be underdogs in is at the Cowboys, and I think they can win that game. And the Lions have shown, when they play teams that they should beat, they take care of business. I know yesterday was a little bit clunkier than we would have all liked, but they still took care of business. And all of their other games against inferior opponents, they won by double digits. So to me, they are going to go 15-2. And you know what that does? That eliminates the San Francisco 49ers from the conversation of the number 1 seed because they already have 3 losses. That's what happens when you have a 3-game losing streak. You don't get what you want when you have a 3-game losing streak. So they're going to have to settle for the 2 or 3 seed. And I'll tell you what, the Philadelphia Eagles are losing tonight at Arrowhead. And now you guys all kind of want to get on the Chiefs hype tonight because
only tonight.
Even though you guys think I'm a Chiefs fan, I am not. But we can all root for the Chiefs collectively tonight. We can all root for a big game from Patrick Mahomes tonight because I think this might be the Eagles' toughest game moving forward. But you know what? The Eagles have this tough game, and then they have another, then they have another, then they have another, then they have another. They're losing 3 games this season, at least.
They have to play the Lions' toughest opponent twice still, with the Cowboys.
Yep.
And really quickly, too, I know for people that are like, how could you guys be so optimistic? They didn't look great yesterday. But to your credit, Sam, I agree with you. We would say that game, and this is the NFL, you're going to have stinkers, but the fact that they had a stinker in one is impressive because typically, like you said, against inferior teams, they have not had it. We have more evidence to suggest that this is a one-off. Like that's how I mean, Jared Goff's first time throwing 3 picks since his LA days. Like, so if we're going to assume they're going to play like this every game, then yeah, they're not going to win 15 games. Of course not. But they won that game playing as garbage as they did. It's kind of like you got a little brother and you're playing 1st to 11 outside, you're playing basketball, and you spot him 8 points. And you say, all right, we'll give you 8 points, little bro. And then you end up beating him 11-8. You know, that's kind of what the Lions just did. Well, hey, little bro, we'll spot you. You know, we'll give you a little lead, cute little lead in the 4th quarter, 2 minutes left, 3 picks from Jared Goff. And then we'll still come back and beat you. Like that's how it felt. So, you know, to your point, Sam, despite how bad they played, do they have to clean things up? Absolutely. But moving forward, you expect that they're going to play better. They just are.
Well, one of the lines that I dropped when I did an interview at the tailgate before the game with Kool-Aid, shout out Kool-Aid, he did a great job, was this was before the game. This was during predictions. I think we all predicted a comfortable win. I said, don't play with your food. And that's basically what the Lions did. They played with their food, but they still won the game. They had one of their worst performances in the last couple of years of any games, period, and they still won. They had their one-off bad performance, and they still won, which kind of leads to the whole point of if you're going to have one of your clunkers, they've had 2 this season. They had one against the Ravens and now one against the Bears. Do it against a 3-7 Bears team that just finds ways to lose games. Mm-hmm. Because all the Lions had to do was not be killed early on. The Bears still hung around. I mean, which kind of leads me to, I don't know if you guys remember this, Jalen Johnson dropped a couple of potential pick sixes. And those are the type of plays that the Bears, if they make them, they probably kill the Lions early, but they didn't. So the Lions were able to hang around, and of course, when it was nut crunching time, the Lions they rose above, and the Bears puckered like always.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You look at the picks Jared had too. Like I would say the bad one was the T.J. Edwards one because he was staring right at him. Yeah. But the other 2, I mean, Laporta tripping up. It was kind of a weird play. He threw Laporta open. Laporta tripped on a defender, and it was picked. And then the third one was kind of a deflected pass at the line of scrimmage, and that became an interception. So. Yeah, a little bit of not all interceptions are made equal. The bad one, though, was T.J. Edwards. And, of course, like you said, in the red zone, he almost threw a pick 6 there when he threw the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown, I believe in the flat. But regardless, it was kind of again, this was Jared back in L.A. Jared has not done this in Detroit yet. So I'm not going to use that one game and be like, oh, should we be concerned about Jared Goff moving forward? You know, call up the station and we'll talk about it. No, I don't think so.
Not to interject, but do you know what that win saved us from? It saved us from a whole week of those kind of conversations of, oh my God, Jared Goff, is he the guy? And honestly, I wouldn't have even been able to blame some people, but
he shut him the fuck up.
He overcame the hole that he helped dig. And sometimes you got to do that as a quarterback because the Bears just could not kill the Lions, but when it was winning time, Jared Goff rose above, and now we have to quiet those discussions again.
I love how much confidence that game probably just gave Jared Goff too.
Oh yeah,
like he's like, this is like all the city now, like they're forced to believe in Jared Goff. He just gave you 2 touchdowns in under 4 minutes when you're just down, and the whole game you're like, what are we doing here?
Do you have the Jared Goff talking to the media?
Which one you want?
Well, just play them both. Here's Jared Goff speaking to the media after the game. He had some interesting things to say.
8-2. That's about it. We're in a good place right now, and feel great. We still have yet to accomplish anything in the grand scheme, but have won 8 games out of 10, and that feels pretty good. It's a lot easier to play bad and win than it is to play bad and lose, and kind of what we did today. We played not our best ball and not my best ball for about 3.5 quarters, and found a way to make it work there at the end. It's a sign of a good team. We're a resilient group. We're tough. We have a lot of courage, and we don't back down from anything.
And again, just kind of like a good team mimics the head coach. They always say the same things. It's the resiliency. We don't back down. There's things you have to work on. But I think the overall theme today, Sam, is good teams win that game, and they won that game. There's games, I mean, the Eagles got snuck up on by the Jets, and they just couldn't overcome that. Things happen in this league. That was a game that typically probably 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 times the Lions lose that football game, but they did not. So that counts, and that's a sign of a team that's not only a good football team, but a dangerous team, because even when they're not playing their best, they find a way to win.
Well, one of the things you don't want to do, especially if you're a contending team that wants to get the 1 seed, which the Lions certainly are and certainly do, you don't want to drop those home games to inferior teams, because the Bears, they looked impressive at times. They did some things better than I think they were expected to, like their defense, like Justin Fields running the football and Justin Fields even throwing. They did a lot of good things, but they were still 3-7. And those are teams you just have to beat. And the Lions, they messed around a little bit, but like I said before, they did enough to win, and that's all that matters. It's the NFL. You're going to have clunker performances. I mean, the Eagles, that's a great example. They effed around against the Jets, but couldn't overcome at the end.
Jalen Hurts, 3 picks.
It was a very, very similar situation, but the Lions, the only games they've lost this year were at Baltimore, which was their clunker, and at home against the Seahawks, which is a good team. You don't want to be dropping these games to inferior opponents, but the Lions, they haven't done that.
No.
They haven't done that, and they inspire confidence that they will continue to take care of business against inferior teams, which the Lions, they play a lot of them coming up.
Yeah, and his comment about fans booing him, he's like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know if he was being sarcastic or not, but the fans were booing him. But that's a part
there
of
were
being,
some boos.
Yeah, but that's the part. Hey, that comes with the territory. You're not playing well, you get booed. If you play well, they cheer. And Jared, I think, even made a joke that they were booing him on that 2-minute drive before half that they scored. Like, it's like, who cares? So he scored on the 2-minute drill. And Jared Goff in the 2-minute drill is money.
Yeah.
Like, and he didn't play well yesterday, but the two bright spots of yesterday's game was 2 minutes before halftime, 2 minutes before the end of the game.
Yep.
He was money. Ben Johnson was money. The play calling was excellent. But, man, oh, man, Jared Goff in situations where you know they're throwing the football, he came up and he showed out, which I think speaks volumes to him as a quarterback.
I mean, it's deflating. It's deflating if you're the Bears, because obviously the Bears were able to respond and started off the second half very, very strong, almost finished the game very, very strong. But if you're the Bears, you probably feel like in a lot of ways that you outplayed the Lions in the first half, and they intercepted Jared Goff twice, but yet the Lions were still ahead at halftime, and they were getting the ball. They didn't do anything with it, but those are the type of plays. Before the half and at the end of the game, that was the difference. Those were the only times, really, that the Lions' offense looked really, really good and consistent, although that drive to make it 26-21 as well. But those were the only real moments. Before half and at the end of the game, the Lions' offense during those times gave you 21 of your points.
Right.
Right when they needed them the most.
I have to say, too, Fields, he played well. You know what? I'll give him credit because I still stand by what I said about saying I didn't say he was terrible, but I also said there's other things I fear more on the Bears than just Fields. And that kind of showed. I mean, DJ Moore, I talked about, Cole Kmet. But overall, though, I mean, that Fields, he had that throw to DJ Moore. I think it was over Jerry Jacobs, if I'm not mistaken, but it was a dot.
It was.
So, again, Fields looked really good. It just wasn't enough. And when it mattered, it didn't matter. So, you know what? I have to say that. I want to give credit to Fields. I didn't think I knew with his legs he's dynamic. I'm not even questioning that. But I just thought his arm, I'm like, we'll see. You know, he's been out of rhythm for a couple of weeks. He looked pretty good on the road. So I got to give him a little bit of credit there. It's just funny how a defensive-minded head coach can't stop an offense on back-to-back drives. Eberflus, defensive-minded head coach, can't even get your defense right. Yeah, you're fired. See ya.
Yeah, and the funny thing, too, is
that's a red flag.
In that same game, 3 of the players that they've acquired recently, Montez Sweat had a sack, TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds had picks, and it didn't matter. If I'm the Bears, I'm just beside myself today.
Yeah,
and that makes me very, very happy as a Lions fan to know that Bears fans are in shambles today.
And the Eberflus decision to kick the field goal on 4th and 1. Tush push. Do another one.
Well, they tried doing it at the beginning of the game. And they
do it
didn't
again.
Do
it again. Do something. You have to close that game.
No, for real. How is Justin Fields not a master at the tush push? How do they not have that down? Well, I mean, that's true, but still, like, get someone in the back, just like,
And the Lions, hey, maybe they're prepping for the Eagles with that tush push defense. I don't know. Maybe they're, no one does it better than the Eagles. But if you're the Bears, you have to be aggressive. You got to get that you got to convert that 4th and 1 and go score a touchdown.
Win the damn game.
They left the door cracked a little bit, and Dan Campbell just kicked it right open. And Jared Goff, like they didn't shut the door on the Lions, and the Lions found a way to win that ball game. All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll talk about Aiden Hutchinson. Your takeaways. I got some stats from Detroit Lions PR that they put out about Aiden Hutchinson. It's pretty impressive what he's been doing the last 2 years. We'll talk about that and more. But first, we got to hear about our friends. Speaking of defense, at Guardian Alarm.
Yes, defense. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Smoking that Bears pack, huh? Glorious Cannabis just in time for football. Glorious Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll cold Honolulu Blue. It smells so good. It's like a whiff of the first playoff win in over 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these, we'll head to Dispo for 25% off and check them out online at www.gloriouscanna.com. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Jake says, Juicy the Grinch that stole 420. Well, I gave it back, technically.
You gave it back.
I did give it back. I plugged it back in, Jake, so that is fair. Freddie says, Jeff Ono, stop. Thank God he saved the weed. Yes, I got you guys. It's time to smoke the Bears pack. I had to plug it in a timely manner for Victory Monday. Let's talk about Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, dude, we know how talented he is, but again, your best players, and Aiden is that guy, when the lights are the brightest and you need them to go make a play, and we'll talk about a guy who made a play when they needed him. Aiden Hutchinson made a play when they needed him, Sam Flannel. On the final drive, go end the game, he said, say less. Not only am I going to get a sack, I'm going to force a fumble and make the offensive lineman kick the ball into the end zone, forcing a safety. He closed the game. Aiden Hutchinson, you talk about, I know pressures, who cares about, I know it's kind of an overrated, inflated stat a little bit, but he was making his presence known throughout the ball game. And him and Ali McNeil, if those guys are clicking, then the defensive line looks a lot different. If those two are playing well, Julian Okwara got some pressures, but the defensive line, it lives and dies with those two guys, and starting with Aiden Hutchinson.
Sure. I mean, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that, 10 games in now, that the Ali McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson would be combined for 10.5 sacks, I would have taken that any day of the week. And like you said, I get it. It's Justin Fields, and there wasn't that much time left on the clock, but the game was still in the balance. The Bears had the ball, I believe, at their own 25 with 29 seconds left, down by 3 with 2 timeouts. They had a chance. They had a chance. And what Aiden Hutchinson did is he basically made Justin Fields turn back into Justin Fields and commit a bad technically it wasn't a turnover, but he fumbled and it got kicked into the back of the end zone for a safety. And Aiden Hutchinson, he closed the game down. He was the Mariano Rivera yesterday, leave no doubt. And at that point, the game, for all intents and purposes, was over because and all of us in the stands were just losing our minds at that point. That was just such a big play, and I was so glad that Aiden Hutchinson got it because for some reason, even when the Lions win, people are talking a bunch of crap about Hutch nowadays.
They still are right now. They said they need to do more in the chat.
Well, that's just lunacy. They won the game. The defense, actually, I would say for the most part, I know Aaron Glenn is going to get some slander, but I think the defense was all right. The Lions put them in a lot of bad situations, but when it was time to go win the game, Aiden Hutchinson just won the game.
I thought the coverage was it wasn't bad. It was more of the RPO that was just killing them. Like the RPO was killing them. I mean, they're biting on Dante Foreman, they're biting on Rashawn Johnson and Justin Fields. Like, even though how dynamic he is, they struggled against the RPO. But again, in coverage, they were pretty solid. And even the DJ Moore touchdown, it was like that was a great throw. The coverage was pretty tight there. But again, for Aiden, to set the tone, and he played pretty well yesterday. I mean, another guy I didn't even know existed, Quinton Bohanna.
Oh,
I need the Shaq meme. I was not familiar with your game, Quinton Bohanna. I mean, you're watching the game, you're like, who the hell is this dude? And I saw the report, and they're like, Lions call up Quinton Bohanna from the practice squad. I'm like, who? Looked him up, 6'4", 330, 24 years old, out of Kentucky. He was a 6th-round draft pick in 2021 from Dallas. He's spent the last 2 years in Dallas. He walked right into that game at a tackle for loss. I mean, bring him home. Quinton Bohanna, if you can come help us out, Quinton Bohanna, then you're more than welcome. You can stay as long as you like. Yep. That's a massive human being, by the way. Yeah, if you saw him, he's huge.
I did not have Quinton Bohanna on my bingo card making an impact on the game, but he did. He made a play.
Yeah,
it probably speaks poorly of guys like Levi Onwuzurike and Broderick Martin. But you know what? This is a happy day.
To your point, they were ruled inactive. You know who else stepped up a little bit at times? Josh Pascal. He made some plays. Maybe not as many as we'd like him to, but still, when they needed him, a couple of those plays, he was there. So that was nice to see Josh Pascal. This team does really miss James Houston, though, so bad. I made that point on the pregame show yesterday. They miss him so bad. They just miss another guy on this defensive line that can just win one-on-ones. And Aleem is having a great year so far. I think he has 5 sacks on the season.
Yes.
I mean, Aiden Hutchinson, 5.5 sacks. All that's great. They just need another dude, and it was supposed to be Houston. And he apparently C.D. Deuce, and we'll get into that at 9:45, but, hey, he was talking ish. He kind of gave away his return date. I think Houston's not too far on the horizon. So you got 2 impactful defensive players that are coming back. You could talk about AG all you want, but those two guys are certainly going to help this defense.
And if everything stays on track, when you are going to have him, you're going to have him for the Dallas game, and you're going to have him for the playoffs. Because despite some of the problems that the team had yesterday, and the defense did struggle at times, although, like I said, the Lions' offense did not, and their kick return game, of all things, did not put them always in the best situations, but they still won. But when it comes time for them to play the tougher opponents, go into the playoffs, you're probably going to have James Houston and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And this defense, even without them, is not perfect, but they play well enough to win usually. And I think those are guys that are going to inject some major life at positions where the Lions, they need them.
Yeah, it's a good test. I mean, you think you struggled now against Fields. Wait till you see Jalen Hurts. Like, he's levels above Fields. So it's a good test for the Lions. There was just a tackling problem. I mean, Jack Campbell didn't look great early in the game. I think he had 9 total tackles, but still, it wasn't a great performance from Jack Campbell. I mean, he missed a ton of tackles early on. The tackling's a problem. I believe there's another play where Kirby Joseph missed a tackle.
That DJ Moore on 3rd and 12.
Yeah.
That play.
That was a big
play
one.
made me almost happy I wasn't at the stream yesterday. I would have said some
furious.
foul things if that was the case. And I love Kirby. I would have just been mad, though. That would have been my breaking point right there.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. Even yesterday, the guys who did step up, I mean, Anzalone with 15 total tackles is ridiculous.
He's an unsung hero of this defense more than people can.
He really is, and I said it on the live stream. We were talking about what kind of guys this game's meant for. I was like, it seems like an Anzalone game because of his sideline-to-sideline tackling ability. He's going to have to be all over the place. He had a fumble recovery after Cam Sutton forced it. I mean, he had 15 total tackles. Anzalone, man, put some respect on his name. He's playing his best ball of his career right now. Lions need that guy, especially with Jack Campbell kind of coming along. He's young, but Derek Barnes and Alex Anzalone both led the team yesterday. And Jack Campbell, 3 linebackers, led the team in tackles. And Shepard said it. We got multiple starting linebackers in this room. Malcolm Rodriguez included. Sam Flannel. But they got some nice talent in there.
But the funny thing is, I mean, I'm not trying to flex or anything like that, but when you're actually at the game, Alex Anzalone, you can see the impact that he has even more. He is all over the field, and he is even levels above guys like Derek Barnes and Jack Campbell at this moment. He was one of the MVPs of that game. Whenever there was a play to be made, even if it were just kind of cleaning up, Alex Anzalone was there. And the Lions' rush defense wasn't even that bad except for against Justin Fields. It's not like Khalil Herbert went off or anything like that.
No, I mean, they were solid. And again, we made this point about the Chargers. Like the Chargers, we brought up all the statistics. Wow, they got a run defense, top 6 in the NFL, 89 yards allowed per game. Oh, my goodness. What are the Lions going to do? They ran for 200 on the Chargers. Well, the Bears are, number 1 in yards per carry, and they're pretty good, and they got 100-plus yards on them on the ground.
In 20 minutes.
Yeah, in 20 minutes.
In a lot of those positions they were in late in the game was just pass heavy. Yeah. They couldn't run the football. So think about that. They could have had another – if this game was, even time of possession, your typical NFL game, very balanced, they would have went for 200 yards on him. I mean, David Montgomery had 12 carries. That's not they give him they're giving him 15 at least, and still he had 6.3 yards per carry, had a 20-yard breakoff run. And they were missing Jonah Jackson.
That's right.
This run game, I'm telling you, is a problem. This offensive line is a problem for any team. So I don't want to hear we can go through and dissect all these rushing stats for every team they face. I don't care. I don't give a damn.
You have to show me.
Yeah, you got to show us. This offensive line's better than your defensive line, and that they showed that once again, Sam Flannel.
Well, they've earned
grown man football. They came out on top.
Well, when you're the Lions, when you have the offensive line that you do, when you have the best backfield in the NFL, you've earned the right to not fear any run defense. I mean, I don't care if they're going up against the San Francisco 49ers. I don't care if they're going up against the Eagles. I trust their confidence to run the ball against any team in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Anytime, anywhere, as the great Travis Bickle would say in my favorite movie of all time, Taxi Driver. Anytime, anywhere.
That's fair.
Give me the Doomsday Dallas defense, the Steel Curtain. Give me the 2000 Ravens. Anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, I don't that's the thing is I'm done. I'm done doing that. I'm done analyzing run defenses. It does not matter. I don't care. I do not care. Because what's the point we bring up? Show me the offensive lines they faced, and I'll give you the Lions. It's not the same.
Levels to it.
I will say this, though.
It's not the same.
With the Chargers and the Bears, I know that they both, by the numbers, had good run defenses, but you could kind of see fugazis from both of them from a mile away. When they were going to go up against a legit run game, the best run game in the NFL in a lot of ways, behind the best offensive line in the NFL.
Barbecue chicken.
Yeah, it was basically barbecue chicken.
That's what it was. So, again, it's just I love that. Spenny made this point in the pregame. It's like our good is better than your good. Our great is better than your great. And it came out that way.
I don't know if the Bears have any our great, but I get what you're saying.
Well, I'd put DJ Moore great.
Okay,
I meant at the time
fair,
rankings. They're number one in lowest yards per carry.
I got
so
you.
That he meant you're great at this point on our great. But regardless, let's get some of these comments. RP says the defense isn't perfect. Our offense keeps us in every game, and
every game.
It seemed like at the beginning they were keeping you out the game, but then hey, they bounced back. And you're right, RP. They won that game. Hoof-hearted. If there's a great cornerback on the market this offseason, Lions might actually spend for one. Cornerback and defensive end are the only two real needs left. I don't think he's far off there. Cornerback and defensive end. Yeah. I think those are the two holes you'd probably agree with on the squad right now. Paul Thomas Fields isn't trash at all, but any mobile quarterback seems to outsmart AG. Yeah, especially in that RPO. And you know what? I'll give you this, Lucas. I could see why you picked the Vikings now. I get it.
He's just with the mobile
quarterbacks. I get it. I understand.
By 1,000 slices. That's all it is. That's what those are. Even when they dump them off, the 49ers do it all the time with George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, just with bubble and quick out routes. And I mean, that's what they were doing with DJ Moore with slants and stuff like that. So it's always going to be a problem, but it's one that as time goes on, the Lions defense is going to get better personnel-wise. They're going to get more experience. And it's something that is going to improve. If we can see that the Lions need to improve on it, you can bet your ass Aaron Glenn, Kelvin Shepard, and all the other guys on defense side of the ball know that they need to improve on it as well.
No question. Guys, you waited long enough. The much-anticipated Jamison Williams segment with our very own Sam Flannel.
You were there, Flannel.
I was.
He was there. Let's see if his eyes lie. We'll go through and give him the test in about 2 minutes from now. Stay patient, and we'll talk Jamison frickin' Williams. Because, my gosh, I got stats for you, Flannel. You're going to want to hear these stats.
Can't wait.
I'll tell you that.
Can't wait.
But first, we got to hear about our friends from Swiss Insurance.
Swiss Insurance, absolutely. Do you have football on the brain? Of course you do. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has been awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Company, official equipment provider of Woodward Sports, Michigan-grown, family-owned, bad boy mowers, tractors, steel, handhelds, and even weed whippers. Liberty trailers, Generac generators, Snow X plows, and salters. Outdoor Equip Co. has it all. Buy it, rent it, 0% financing, delivery to your doorstep. Just visit their website at OutdoorEquipCo.com.
We knew we were still in the game. We knew it wasn't over. Everybody on the sideline dapping each other up and keeping each other up because we know we finna get this ball back. Our defense can give us this ball back. We're finna go score. We finna do it again. And that's what we just did. So I think having that mindset on the sideline helped us a little bit go out there and really do it. We go block for the running backs, how they block for us in the pass protect. It like go hand in hand. It's just part of football. We just help our brothers out. It's just somehow we do it. You don't see a lot of teams moving like that. You don't see a lot of receivers in the league going to block for the running backs, blocking down the field, 40 yards down the field, 60 yards down the field. But you're going to see the Lions doing it for
sure. Oh, I love it. I love it. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, talking Lions, Bears. It's J-Mo time. Let's talk about Jameson for a second, because
he sounds completely different.
He
in those
does,
videos.
and that's
his whole tone.
That's a real thing. Like the confidence level J-Mo's playing with, but more than that, guys, the coaches tried to tell you. They talked about this man all week. So that's the first hint I got is, the coaching staff. What did Dan say? He's always a part of the pack. The players are starting to trust him. His snaps have been increasing over the last couple of weeks. Guys, it's there. Like, they're starting to fully trust Jameson Williams, and he's starting to get more and more involved. And I'm sick of this conversation because I hate it. I'm sick of arguing this man's talent. Like, we know his talent. If you watch Jameson Williams, you know he's talented. You see it. You see it. If you watch Jameson, if you have two eyeballs, you could see he's talented. The game-changing speed, that was on display. You saw that. I mean, they needed a score. Okay, let's dial up a play. Instant score, one play, touchdown, Jameson Williams. You see it. It's there. The Lions needed a score. That score ended up being the difference. It wasn't the game winner, but ultimately that was the difference. Him scoring a touchdown on a play where the Bears knew they needed a touchdown. That's the player Jameson Williams is. St. Brown, and by the way, literally, his number was called upon because St. Brown told him in the huddle before, get ready, the ball's going to you. And most people would say, well, he's supposed to drop it. No, he caught it.
Come on.
He caught it. Three targets, 2 catches. So, again, that's a pretty good, I would say, if we're talking percentages of targets versus catches, that's a pretty good percentage, 2 of 3. I would just say so. But regardless, how important are touchdowns? I think they're pretty important. You're trying to outscore your opponent every single week. You outscore your opponent. That's how you win in the National Football League. Correct? That's what matters. And you have Jameson Williams, who's 22 years old. 22. 11 catches in his NFL career with, again, limited snaps, but still snaps. He hasn't played a ton of snaps, but, again, he's been out there from time to time. He doesn't start, but you see him implemented throughout the ball game there. 11 catches. 3 touchdowns. And I know you hate this, but I'm going to bring it up anyway, Sam Flannel. 11 catches, 3 touchdowns, but you could also bring up the 2 other ones that were called back. And I'm going to do it. That way, let's just play fantasy land for a second. Let's just pretend. Let's just say those 2 didn't get called back. And I know they did. They did get called back, so it's not in the stat sheet. But let's just say we saw him score those other 2. One at Green Bay, one against the Chargers. That would be 13 catches, 5 touchdowns. That's his NFL career so far. 13 catches, 5 touchdowns. 38% of his catches go for touchdowns.
All right.
That's what if those 2 didn't get called back. Right now in his career, of course, 11 catches, 3 TDs. That's the player you have right now, Sam Flannel, and the coaching staff trusts him. And I'm telling you, this is the start of kind of the turning point of Jameson Williams' career. Like you see the play, you see the explosiveness, you see all that, the talent. And I'm telling you, I said this about Jared Goff. He has to trust you. And he's starting to even trust Jameson Williams more and more, and he's getting implemented into the offense a lot more. So credit to Jameson Williams, credit to him, and credit to Goff and those two for they're finding ways, and Ben Johnson to give him the football, and he's making plays. So, again, I love everything I'm seeing out of Jameson Williams, everything.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to look at the numbers a little bit differently. But you guys are going to like this, I promise. I'm going to look at the biggest number on this season when it comes to Jameson Williams as 2. Those are the touchdowns that Jameson Williams has scored, and those were 2 of the bigger plays that the Lions offense has made all season. And I'm going to give him his flowers today because at that moment, I know I still thought that the Lions had a chance to win yesterday, but once Jameson Williams caught that touchdown and they cut the lead to 5 with like about 3 minutes left, that was the moment where I think even the fans were just like, wow, the Lions are going to win this game. And Jameson Williams made the big play. He provided that explosive element, that long touchdown, because at some point when there's not as much time left on the clock, you need to make chunk plays, and Jameson Williams and on the pass from Jared Goff made the ultimate chunk play, and I got to give him his flowers. I think this season, the way that he's going to be used is he's going to be kind of that home run hitter. He's not going to make a ton of catches. He's not going to have a lot of yards, but some of the catches that he does make, some of the plays that he does make are some of the biggest plays of the season, of the game, and that's what he has shown so far this year. So credit to Jameson Williams. If you think today I'm going to come in and be like, and say something snarky or anything like that, this isn't the day for it, because
it'll be tomorrow.
No, come on. It'll probably be for this whole week. Well, you know what, though, Lucas?
Until given another reason. How about that?
And that's a good point, because what Jameson Williams is doing while making multiple huge plays is he's building up even equity with somebody like me. I've seen how valuable he's been to this team this year. I think some people have overrated him a little bit, but at this point, there's nothing I can really say. He's made big plays when the Lions have needed him to make big plays, and the Lions are 8-2. So at this point, again, I have earned the right to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
I have,
and that's the reason why I bring it up. It's in the whole thing about J-Mo though, Sam, too, is his floor is just catching bombs for TDs. Like that's what I believe his floor is. It's these 32. He had caught a 32-yard touchdown pass, but catching these long throws down the field, catching a touchdown pass, that's like his floor. There's so much more there with J-Mo, I think. Like, from, short, intermediate, deep. I think he's more of a complete receiver, but we just haven't seen it. And I think that if you have a floor of catching, again, counting two called-back TDs, 13 catches, 5 TDs scored, 38% of the time you're in the end zone when you catch the football. Like, yeah, that's pretty good, I would say. Like, that's why I'm trying to explain why people are excited about this dude. It's not about, we're J-Mo bots, and there are people maybe that defend this man blindly, but, like, the data is right in front of us.
See.
Like, even, okay, let's go without callback. 11 catches, 3 TDs. Like, you see it. You see the plays. When he touches the football, things happen, Lucas.
Yeah, and another thing is, too, is like, why I was, and a lot of people with me were getting so frustrated when we talked about his usage is because if you just go back and look at his game log right now, against Carolina, he had 3 targets, caught 2 of them, so 2 of 3 targets. The one that he dropped was that suicide slant. Now, if you want to blame it on him, I'm not going to hold you to it because it hit your hands. You should catch it. Against Tampa Bay, where he had a huge, crucial touchdown catch, he had 3 targets, caught 2 of them. The missed target was that, like, it was going up the sideline. It was kind of the wheel route that it was just kind of an awkward play. It was more of a chemistry thing. And then against Baltimore,
right,
6 targets, 0 catches. So that is one game that I can't even blame you. If you want to put it on J-Mo, go ahead. You want to put it on Goff, go ahead. It was just a bad game from the team overall. Against Vegas, 3 targets, 2 catches. Against the Chargers last week, 2 targets, 2 catches. And then yesterday, 3 targets, 2 catches. So this whole thing about, well, you throw him the ball, he's not giving you the opportunity. No. Every time, most of the games you throw him the ball 3 times, he's going to catch it twice at the bare minimum. Now, if you give him just absolutely perfect balls, he might catch all 3 of them. But Jameson Williams is the whole drops thing. I understand it, but that's why it's just like give this man time. Let him go. Like yesterday, the last play of the game in the red zone at the 1-yard line.
Right.
Jameson Williams was out there. They trust this man now, so his production is just going to keep going up because if you really just go back and look, it's not as bad as people have been making it out to seem.
Yeah, and that's in a couple of these comments. I'm going to go to the people. K-Boogie says J-Mo's averaging 16 yards per catch in his career. Shot says most wide receivers don't even bother blocking on run plays. Hoof Hard, it says J-Mo has potential, so much damn talent and potential. To those of us that see it, he seems inevitable to us. And the thing I want to mention too about J-Mo, and you mentioned it, Lucas, and again, I'm kind of weaving in and out of these stats, but I'm going to do it again. In the Baltimore Ravens game, he had 6 targets, 0 catches. On the year, he has 10 catches and 20 targets. That game accounted for about almost half of his targets. If that 6-target game, I know we're doing it again, but technically without that Ravens game, he's 14 targets, 10 catches.
That's what I'm saying.
So, that's not bad. Now, it was a bad game.
Majority of them are deep shots, too, are low percentage, opportunities, and he's not going to catch every one of them, no
So, even the drop argument, they've happened. It's happened. But he's not, he doesn't have the worst hands in the NFL.
No,
That's my point.
No.
Not Nelson Aguilar.
No, but here's the thing. You're doing something again, which is kind of getting on my nerves a little bit. I know this is the J-Mo praise day, and I gave him a lot of praise. So if you take out the Baltimore game and you count his touchdowns that were called back, then he's. You see what I'm saying?
It's just context. I'm trying to,
I understand.
For example, he can't motivate Taylor Decker to block better. So,
Sure.
of course, I'm going to bring up the TD. Or against Green Bay, it was 2 holding calls. I can't tell him to motivate his offensive line. You know what I mean? So I'm just bringing up him scoring, and it didn't count. That's all I'm doing. It's not like J-Mo scored and had an OPI, and then I'm like, well, if he didn't push the guy off, he would have. No, he scored, but the offensive line was a holding call. It's not his control. That's why I'm bringing it up. It's still 11 catches, 3 TDs. If we're counting 2, that because of holding calls, it'd be, 13 catches, 5 TDs. I'm making it clear. I'm making it known that I am adding in 2 uncalled or called back TDs. But I think that matters.
Well, that
matters.
I don't think it matters, but let me say this. I don't think callback touchdowns matter at all, but he is getting to the point where if he keeps making more plays, like the one he made yesterday, like the one he made against Tampa Bay, if he keeps doing that as the season goes along, and he's already starting to do that, then we're not going to think about the called back touchdowns. We're going to think about plays that actually counted for points and actually counted on the stat sheet and actually counted towards wins. And Jameson Williams, I think he'll probably make a few more as the season goes along. I think for this year, he's not going to be that superstar, but he is going to be I would say a hired gun, if that makes sense.
He'll learn. He's learning. That's why,
sure.
Yes.
when Jeff and I say these things, I think it's important to remember, you're not. If Keenan Allen was doing these things, you're not saying that about Keenan Allen right now just because he's a veteran wide receiver that's been in the league for a while. But Jameson Williams,
he's 22 years old.
You could use any wide receiver, not Keenan Allen. But at the same point, a veteran wide receiver, you're not saying the same thing. But the fact is, there's just not that much to show with Jameson Williams, and the fact that he's this talented, that you got to find some way to be able to realize when people are like, no, this kid's washed. No, this kid is very good, and that's the way you kind of pry it apart, where it's people just talk about his hands all the time. He can't catch anything. He doesn't have the best hands, but now people just bash Jameson Williams like the man can't catch a cold half the time, and that's not true. And if you want to use the Baltimore game, go for it. But that's a quarterback and wide receiver issue in that game. There could have been a pass that Jameson Williams could have caught, but there could have been a ball.
St. Brown dropped a ton of balls in that game. I mean, he still played well, but still, that game was just garbage.
Yeah, and it's
garbage.
You take that garbage game from the whole team. Do it for everybody. Jameson Williams, 10 for 14 on targets. Is that really that bad? No, it's not. So it's just that's another thing to be optimistic about and showing you that this kid has true promise.
Yeah, and I think that's where me and you disagree is the called back TDs. Of course they don't count. Of course they don't count in the stat sheet. But to me they matter because he was in the end zone. That's how I look at it. Now, I'm not going to look at the end of his career and tack on 2 more TDs.
You sure about that, Jeff? You sure about that?
Yes, I am sure about that, Sam. But when a guy with limited opportunity, it matters more for a guy. If St. Brown, we're not going to remember every callback TD because he is involved every single week. It doesn't matter. But Jameson's sample size is so small, I think the callback TDs, it's fair to bring them up if you're making a case for J-Mo right now. Because the sample size is so small.
Sure, but I want to see that sample size get bigger.
Of course. But can you see why I'm bringing it up? Sam, he was in the end zone. We saw the same thing. It was just called back.
Oh, and that's just
and
where
I know it doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but it still counts. If you're looking at a player and you're like, yeah, he scored a touchdown, it was just called back, I can't be like, well, he gets no credit, and he that doesn't even matter, and it's out of my memory, and I forgot about it. No, the Green Bay game last year, he scored. It was a deep shot, and he scored, but it was a holding call. I don't know. Maybe that's where we disagree. Is like you're like, well, that I forget that out of my memory. Like I don't. He's scored technically 2 more times. It was just called back.
I know, but yesterday he scored and it helped them win. And against Tampa Bay, he scored and it counted and it helped them win. Those are the plays, and I know we're like kind of arguing with a brick wall at this point. Those are the plays to me that matter, and I'm giving him a lot of credit for making them. I'm hoping that by the end of the year, maybe in the next couple of games, they can get him more consistently involved and we can stop talking about the called back touchdowns and actual great games, for which, by Jameson Williams' standards and by what this team has needed, he has had 2 of them this year. He has. Even though they haven't been big-time numbers games, he still had a couple of touchdowns, a couple of big explosive plays when the Lions needed him most. I'm giving him credit for that. That's what he is this year. At least that's what he's been.
Yes. When there isn't a holding call, 2 TDs he scored this year, both impacted the game. Is that
hugely impacted those games.
So there you go. We can agree. We can break bread there. But again, you see the potential there. You see the talent, and I'm excited for him. He's upped his snap count over the last couple of weeks. This is a sign. Again, we could argue all day about J-Mo. The guys who get paid to do this professionally, they believe in J-Mo. So, like, who cares what we think? They believe in him, and he's getting an uptime. He's getting an uptick in snaps, which is important for this offense. We talk about it with Ben Johnson's offense.
To be an elite, top-tier offense, it's crucial.
To earn critical snaps is crucial. Like Khalif having the career he's had in Detroit. Like these guys, if you could block, if you're disciplined, if you run the right routes, you do everything you're supposed to do, you'll get the rock, and J-Mo's been getting the rock. That's just how it is. All right, let's head to break here. When we come back, we'll talk about this backfield because I think you have to talk about him. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. You'll hear from David Montgomery talking to Matt Broder when we come back, and then we'll get to some PR stats that Detroit Lions PR tweeted out about those two, and it's impressive, man. They continue to impress, and you're running behind this offensive line. It's a hell of a run game, I'll tell you that. But before we do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at Planet Fitness. So let me do that really quickly. Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone, where anybody can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, full-body workout, and just 30 minutes. All memberships include fitness training. You'll get all this for just $10 a month. No commitment, no matter where you are. There's a Planet Fitness close by. There is more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
I call this place the land of the misfit toys. You get a lot of guys who've been told no their whole life or been told they've never been good enough. You got a beautiful city like this with big, gritty, blue-collar people. People look at this city for a while as not taken serious, and now we beginning to be serious. The city of Detroit is behind us, and we can feel it, and we got a bunch of guys in this locker room, and coaches who high character guys, gritty guys. You see what it's like when you for a long time, you beat down. It starts to the time to get.
And there you have it, David Montgomery. Speaking to Matt Broder there, and David, he is Lucas mentioned it earlier. There's a hell of an off-season acquisition there. He's an incredible player. And like I said, even in the small sample size yesterday, he had 12 carries for 76 yards, 6.3 yards per carry. And it's nice because you see Chicago, he plays against them, and throughout his career in Chicago, he didn't have the offensive line, he didn't have the quarterback, he didn't have the play calling. He has all that in Detroit, and it's clicking right now. He's a top 14 right now. He's the 14th paid running back according average per year salary. 14th highest paid. He's a bruiser. And he shows up, which is important for NFC North games. The only other sample size we have now is against, Green Bay Packers, in which he had, 32 carries? I don't know, $121, 3 TDs, something like that.
Something slight.
Something slight. Had 20 yards, receiving as well. Almost had 150 yards from scrimmage. But you know what? He's a dog. And it's not just him. It's Jahmyr Gibbs as well. And some of these stats that, Detroit Lions PR tweeted out. And we'll just go with Jahmyr Gibbs really quickly. Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs has produced 95-plus scrimmage yards and a TD in 4 straight games. This ties the longest such streak by a rookie in franchise history, along with Amon-Ra St. Brown, 2021, and Kevin Jones in 2004. You look at Jahmyr, had 95 yards from scrimmage yesterday, almost 100. But if he were to have 100, he would have 100-plus in all 4. He's had 100-plus in 3 of the last 4. He was 5 more for making it 5 of 5. So 5 games, almost 5 games with 100 yards from scrimmage. He's the weapon we all thought he'd be. In this backfield together with this offensive line, that's a problem for any team. It really is. Any defensive line.
Yeah, yesterday was the type of game from David Montgomery and from Jahmyr Gibbs that maybe you envisioned before the season even started. David Montgomery was going to get the majority of the carries, got the majority of the rushing yards, made a couple plays in the passing game, while Jahmyr Gibbs would get not a lot of carries. He only got 8, but a decent amount, and make a lot of plays in the passing game, which he did. And they both got a touchdown. And now, I can't believe this, Jahmyr Gibbs now has 5 rushing touchdowns on the season.
Yeah.
At some point, he was stuck at 0. That is absolutely unbelievable. And yesterday, as a duo, they combined for 115 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on 5.2 yards per carry, which is excellent, in less than 20 minutes of time of possession. So they did their job. They've been really, really showing out. And they are, at this point, the undisputed best backfield in the NFL. They've already combined for 1,000 rushing yards as a duo, and hell, they might both get it at the end of the year. We shall see when it comes to even just rushing yards. I think this was a backfield that we were all pretty excited about. I know, and a lot of people are going to give me crap for this till the end of time. I wasn't as excited about David Montgomery as some, but everybody else was at the network pretty much. And you guys were absolutely right, and I was dead wrong. He's been great, and I think he's been even better than any of us have even anticipated. Maybe even you guys, certainly me. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, has been better than any of us have anticipated, especially given his slower start to the year when it came to his usage. But these last couple of games, you've seen what they look like when they're on the field at the same time. You've seen David Montgomery in games where Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't available, and you've seen Jahmyr Gibbs in games where David Montgomery wasn't available. But right now, they're healthy. They're on the field at the same time. They're clicking, and this is, moving forward, could be the best running game in the NFL.
I agree with that. I mean, you got guys specifically. Look at backfields. I mean, who's really their competition at this point?
Statistically, the only ones that stack up is Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane.
And Devon Achane had a carry for a yard yesterday.
As a duo, there's not a better 1-2 punch than what the Detroit Lions have. Factor into that the offensive line. Guys, they just put up over 100 and 200 yards on 2 top 6 run defenses.
Yeah, that's right. The Chargers, now we can say with almost no shadow of a doubt that the Chargers and the Bears' run defenses were fugazis.
Think about that,
because the Lions made them fugazis.
Yes, dude, Chargers top 6, 89.0 yards per 89 yards per game given up to opposing teams. I'm getting in my Matt Shepard bag right now.
I mean, they shut down the Packers
Chicago
running
Bears
backs yesterday.
Chicago Bears, lowest yards per carry allowed in the NFL.
The Packers running back A.J. Dillon, 14 carries for 29 yards. Aaron Jones, 4 carries for 14 yards. Jaden Reed, the Packers wide receiver, was the leading rusher against the Chargers yesterday. So that was one of the best duos going into the season.
Well, that's the thing. So maybe the Chargers and the Bears actually, maybe I worded it wrong. Maybe they actually do have good rush defenses, but what they do good cannot compete with what the Lions do at an elite level.
Yeah. It's like it's honestly just like when you have something like that's the Lions' identity. And if you do not have anything close to it, those are the teams that you just get dominated by. If you just let the Lions run the ball on you, which the Bears did not really. I mean, there was a point where just eventually the floodgates broke open, but they were controlling time of possession. You let that run game get going at all. It's chops.
And it really shows that, and again, these are incredible players. I don't want to take anything away from David or Ja, But it really shows dating back to last year and what Jamal Williams did. Look at Jamal Williams right now. Like, and I'm not even trying to go there because I actually appreciated it for what he did for the Lions and the leader he was. I appreciate Jamal. But, like, think about that for a second. What this offensive line does to help these guys, too. Like, they're talented. David's better than Jamal, I think, and Ja's an incredible player. But this offensive line just changes things. Like, it raises the ceiling of your run game, and you see that on full display even without one of your more important players in Jonah Jackson.
That's true, and it's
you got Penei Sewell, who against the Chargers was allowing or at least helping 12.4 yards per carry on the right side. 9 times, behind Penei, it's a touchdown. But yeah, it's incredible, Sam. It really is.
Yeah, it's 100% incredible. And right now, you're seeing what this running game can be at its full strength, at its 100% capacity. And who knows? Maybe Jonah Jackson will be back next game, and we'll even get a fully healthy offensive line, a fully healthy backfield. Because you saw what they did last week against the Chargers with everybody healthy. You saw what they were able to do against the Bears with everybody healthy, but Jonah Jackson. This running game, I think, is what could be the difference between the Lions making and winning a Super Bowl. This is something that opposing teams fear. And you know what? They fear the passing game as well, but that running game, it's just inevitable. Would you want to go up against this offensive line just snap after snap after snap after snap?
Even if I'm Philly, like how you were saying earlier, if you're the 49ers, like the Lions, the Eagles, those 3 teams, the upper echelon teams in the NFC, none of those defenses want to play the Lions offense whatsoever.
No,
that's the last thing they want to deal with because it's not like they're a flashy team like Miami. You play against Miami and you're physical with them. All right, now that's how you beat the Miami Dolphins. You want to be physical with the Detroit Lions, they're going to use that against their advantages because that's the style of team that they are.
Yeah, they want to be physical.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll dump off a screen. We'll dump off a screen to Jahmyr Gibbs if you want to do that. We'll dump off a screen to Amon-Ra St. Brown. If you're going to game plan for that, okay, here goes David Montgomery, 20 carries, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns on your head. You can't do anything about it.
The Lions can beat them in more ways than the Dolphins can, and also I think experience at the quarterback position favors the Lions. Like Jared Goff has seen more than Tua, but more than that, to your point, Lucas, I believe the Dolphins are undefeated at home, and anywhere else they're like 500. The Lions can win anywhere at any time because of their offensive line. And their defensive line, to some extent, they got to play better, but really their offensive line because they can pound the football. Okay, if you slow the run game down, well, we're going to pass protect, and then we'll dot you up. So unless you're an all-around complete elite defense, you're going to have issues. Like, you're just simply going to have issues. This offense, nobody wants to play, especially at Ford Field. Especially at Ford Field.
Flannel, how loud was it yesterday?
That's
especially after that safety.
Crazy.
After the safety, that was the loudest moment that I've ever seen at Ford Field. I mean, honestly, it was Aiden Hutchinson. It was closing down the game. It was kind of a relief and a cathartic factor because a lot of us thought that we were going to walk out of Ford Field with our tails between our legs, being like, we just lost to the goddamn Bears. But you know what? That was because of the relief factor, because of the way that it ended, because of guys like Jamison Williams, David Montgomery, and Aiden Hutchinson all making some of the biggest plays of the game. It was a perfect storm of just epic ending.
Even on that final drive, Laporta catching the first down on the 2nd and 2, and then the 2-point conversion to say, all right, even Justin Fields pulls a miracle here. They got to get a field goal. I bet that place was rocking.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
This comment, too, I'm salty. If you could comment, you could hit the like button. Remember that, fellas. Yeah, exactly. Appreciate that, Salty. By the way, guys, hit the like button on the stream. Again, we're at 243. Let's get to 250, maybe 300. Let's set the tone. We do this on Victory Monday. Set the tone for the network and for the rest of the shows here with your guys' support. I'll tell you what, we'll go to break. When we come back, we'll preview tonight's Monday Night Football game. Are the Chiefs going to win? Will the Eagles win? We'll have that discussion, and then we'll get to what's trending with Lucas and, of course, mailbag. But before we do that, I got to hear about our friends from Premier Pet.
Premier Pet, of course, the
Jake,
best place.
Milo.
Yes, Jake and Milo. Who were waiting at home.
Get a dog named Jameson now.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But that is all well and good because when it comes to
Pitbull.
Probably won't get a pit bull. When it comes to your pet, don't settle. I don't settle when it comes to my golden retriever, Jake, and my orange cat, Milo. Give your pet the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations. Over 60 brands of food, lowest prices, and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply, give your pet the best. Visit their website at premierpetsupply.com.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Boner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Boner and Broder. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's a Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meijer store. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. Visit their website at drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're out in at Feldman and Novi doing our show here. Big D Energy will be here as well, talking Bears, Lions. Lions pull off a victory. We kind of covered all that all today. Let's get into Monday Night Football, though. Chiefs take on the Eagles at Arrowhead. Some would call it Campbellhead. Some would call it Burrowhead.
Disrespectful.
But I haven't. I've just heard those things. But regardless, according to ESPN Bet, Chiefs right now 2.5-point favorites at home. And guys, I know as Lions fans, you should be rooting for the Chiefs today. Like, there should not be any debate about that. You should be a Chiefs fan just for tonight, just so they can beat the Eagles. And that one seed now is an even playing field.
I wonder who it would go to, because did you guys know, have you seen, like, if the Lions and Eagles are both 8-2, who would get
I'd have to look that up for NFC wins and all that.
Well, I wonder,
because right now
this Chiefs game would be huge, because if I know they're in the AFC, but if there's not many like NFC matchups, you can go head-to-head with. They then just go to straight head-to-head matchups that the teams have similar. Lions have a win over the Chiefs, and the Eagles take an L. That might give it over them.
Ooh, and you know what? I didn't even think about this too. The Lions beat the Chiefs.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I was kind of I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that, you know what?
I'd have to look at their NFC matchups, but who have the Lions just lost to the Seahawks in the NFC? Eagles haven't played anybody in the NFC. I guess their one loss is to an AFC team with the Jets. So they would probably keep the lead. Yeah.
And if they lose, it'd be 2 AFC losses. So
it'd probably stay with Philly for at least a little bit.
But
longer.
at least it'd be in reach.
Yeah.
But is it fair for me to even though we should root for the Chiefs, I think the Eagles win tonight.
Yeah, you can hope it.
Even though I don't want it to happen, but if you're talking put $100 on the line, who do you think's going to win? I like the Eagles tonight, but I don't want them to win. Well, that's what I'm struggling with. Like, I just don't see the Chiefs beating them twice. Like, now being 2-0. I just think the Super Bowl was so close. Those guys are going to be motivated. I know the secondary's been struggling in Philly, and it might favor the Chiefs there, but I don't know. That's a tough one.
But
Go Chiefs, though. I hope they beat the Eagles. I don't want them to. But, again, I just think the Eagles win. I do.
I get that it's hard to beat a team twice, although one was the end of last year and this is this year. I don't know if that necessarily matters, but it's going into Kansas City, which is one of the toughest places to play in the NFL. You've got the Chiefs, who are pretty much fully healthy. You've got an Eagles secondary, which has been very, very, I wouldn't even say leaky. I would say bad for the most part this year.
Lions level. Like, there's not that Between the Lions secondary and the Eagles secondary, there's not that much of a difference.
Shoot, has the Lions secondary actually been better this year?
On paper, especially with Philly grabbing Kevin Byard, you'd be like, oh, Philly hands down has a better secondary, but it is the last thing from hands down.
Well, and I get what you're saying about the Eagles have a better top to bottom roster. They have better high end players, but in the secondary, to all of ours point, is that the secondary hasn't played very well, even with guys like Byard being there and James Bradbury and Darius Slay. It hasn't seemed to matter.
Don't
so I
sleep
think
on Reed Blankenship now.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know who I think has a coming out party today for the Kansas City Chiefs? You know who I think has a big game?
Who's that?
Rashee Rice.
I like that.
I think
That's
Rashee Rice goes for 100 yards. And I
don't hate it.
And I think Patrick Mahomes has one of his better performances of the season because a lot of quarterbacks have against the Eagles this year. All that the Chiefs need to do is to make sure that they can keep the phenomenal Eagles defensive line off of Patrick Mahomes' back, and I think that they will. And the Chiefs defense, as I've said many, many times, has been elite this year by the numbers. So I think they can hold the Eagles to maybe 20, 17, 21, something like that. And I think the Chiefs win this game. I think, Jeff, you should have some hope. You should have some hope that the Lions will take over the 1 seed tonight.
I do. I guess it's like it's the Lions fan hat, and then I have my analyst hat where I'm like, realistically looking at this, I like some of them. I mean, that secondary for the Chiefs, they're not bad.
No,
but they haven't seen AJ Brown.
That's true.
That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a grown man. And then you got this offensive line. Yeah, go Chiefs. I'm done talking. Lucas, what do you think?
Let's go.
I mean, the fact
you
that
smell something fishy. I mean, what do you think?
I'm going with the Chiefs. No,
okay.
Dallas Goedert is
right.
going to be huge for the Philadelphia Eagles because with Nick Bolton and Willie Gay, they're going to be able to pressure Jalen Hurts more than they would be able to before with no Dallas Goedert. I think they're going to be able to focus on shutting down the run with DeAndre Swift. They're going to be able to play that physical brand of football and just breaking it down when I really think about it at home against Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce I don't know if it was last week or the week before, had a dud, so he's going to want to pick it up a little bit more. And I think the Chiefs, they feel some added pressure, too, just to show that we are still the Super Bowl champions from last year, and this is the team that they played in the Super Bowl. And I think they're going to have all their T's crossed and I's dotted. I'm going to go Kansas City tonight, and it's not going to surprise me. I think Mahomes, big game, Kelce, big game. I could even see your boy, Sky Moore, getting loose, Jeff. I really could.
That's not my boy.
Oh, he was in your fantasy lineup week 1 this year. You had faith in that man. It's okay. A lot of people did.
Well,
because he does sometimes just have streaky performances.
Yeah,
like Sky Moore just got loose today. What the fuck happened here?
I took the bait in fantasy.
Right.
I'm not going to lie.
All right.
Beginning of the year,
around him.
Before the season started, I said, you know what? I liked Rashee Rice a lot, but I was like, Sky Moore, I just think his experience, he'll probably be the one they lean on, but he stinks.
You thought he'd at least get a good target share. Like I did too. I didn't think he'd be phenomenal, but I thought he'd be at least a B- wide receiver at the very worst.
I didn't know Rashee would be the number 1 wideout his rookie year, but hey, it's where we're at now, and he's a hell of a player. They got a good one in Rashee Rice. They do. There you go. Go Chiefs tonight. Hopefully they can beat the Eagles. Kind of level the playing field for the Lions there. Chase that 1 seed. Danny Bennett says, Jeff, Eagles only lose 1 seed if they lose the next 2 games. Lions win the next 2. Otherwise, the next NFC game, the Eagles play in versus the Niners, December 3rd. That's a good.
Yeah, Niners, 2 Cowboys.
And I think the Niners, speaking of the beating a team twice, I like the Niners in that game, too. They're going to be pissed off. And they got Brock, and he ain't getting hurt. So
I know we love the Lions,
be healthy.
Man. I know we love the Lions.
49ers are scary, I know.
The 49ers are the best team in the NFL right now. I understand they went on a bad 3-game losing streak, but when you lose 2 of your best players on offense,
they beat the Jags like 35-3.
And Brock Purdy, I'm not saying he's that guy as an NFL MVP, but when he's clicking, if you play the 49ers and Brock Purdy is clicking, that secondary
though is a little shaky.
It's inevitable.
And they got Tufunga just got hurt, so the secondary is a little shaky. But it's just like the Eagles. They kind of both have they're kind of shaky secondaries, but their defensive lines and their offenses.
And Tre'Davious Ward is playing a lot better than Darius Slay or James Bradbury.
That's very fair.
Yeah, that is fair. All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll get to what's running with Lucas. We'll see what he has for us. Maybe the CD Deuce video.
Oh, that's gas. I got Brandon Staley coming up.
Yeah, and Brandon Staley. Snippy. Lucas, it's Christmas. All right, let's go to break. We'll get to that when we come back. No read, I believe.
Yeah, just go. All
right, we'll see you guys in a little bit. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We'll see you right after the break.
nothing.
G-G-G-G-A.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. There we go. Oh, cheers, buddy. I think we need to get you a pick.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
You know what time it is. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network at 9:40. Guys, if you're new to the show, it's What's Trending with Lucas. Check your watches. Just look to my right, unless you're lefty. Look at my left. Or check the clocks. Lucas, what do you got for us?
Oh, we got a doozy. And this video that we're about to watch shows you, and I know he's been inactive, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson is or C.D. Deuce now.
C.D. Deuce?
Is my favorite player on this Detroit Lions team, and this video shows me exactly why. We're going to pull that back up so you guys can actually hear it because it's definitely damn worth the listen. We're going to show you the Brandon Staley. He was not happy after a reporter asked him.
Oh, I saw this one.
Reporter asked him, obviously Brandon Staley, defensive-minded head coach, they asked him if he's still going to be calling the plays on the defensive side of the ball, and this was his answer.
The focus is on our execution. We had plenty of opportunities today and just didn't capitalize on enough of them to finish the game. And this is a tough one. We got to put it behind us. And we've got AFC games in front of us, and we got to put our focus to Baltimore.
You talked a lot about execution in recent weeks as the reason why the defense is performing. Why are you guys not executing? Why is that part so inconsistent for you guys defensively?
Yeah, we just we haven't found that rhythm consistently in the secondary. That's right now. I thought we did a really good job against the run in this game. I thought we rushed well enough to win. We weren't able to turn them over, and there's these plays that. That really hijack our rhythm, in the passing game. And that's where we got to put our focus. That's where it's been. And until we get that solved consistently, you're going to continue to see results like today because there's a lot of good defense being played out there. But then, you can't foul on 3rd and 20. You can't cut people loose. You can't miss tackles. And, we got to play cleaner football.
Are you still not giving any consideration to giving up play call?
No.
The penalties on 3rd and extra long is the 4th one you guys have had this year, the 6th one you've given up, the 3rd and 15 plus this year overall. What is happening in those situations where you guys can't get off the field?
Just got to play with good fundamentals. They're going to throw a pass that's going deep, so we're connected in coverage, and you have to play with good fundamentals and not grab the guy. And it's as simple as that. We know that the routes are going deep. You need to be connected with them, which is what we were, and you can't reach and grab.
But if the same thing keeps happening in those situations, the logical takeaway is that some messaging is not getting home because obviously you're talking to the players every week. Every week we're talking about fundamentals. Every week we show them the officiating videos. Every week we're talking about it. And so all we can continue to do is emphasize it. And I know that our coaching staff's doing that. I know that the message is getting across. We're not getting the execution on the field. I guess, Brandon, I'm wondering, this defense has struggled all year and dated back to when you got there. You still haven't made any kind of significant changes. When you keep saying the same things and doing the same things, you still, I guess, why?
I have full confidence, like I've told you, and like I've told you from the beginning, I have full confidence in our way of playing. Full confidence in myself as the play caller, in the way that we teach, in the way that we scheme. Full confidence in that. We got to bring this group together and do it consistently, okay? And that's where it's at. So you can stop asking that question, okay? I'm going to be calling the defenses, okay? So we're clear. So you don't have to ask that again.
So Mr. Staley was a little upset, and understandably so. Sorry about that being a little bit of a longer video. We're trying to figure out what's going with the CD Deuce video, but he was getting grilled up there repeatedly.
Yeah.
They asked multiple times about the defensive side of the ball. Do you think it's just Brandon Staley is finally just realizing that it's
done?
He's
cooked.
It's done. It's done.
That's like the typical response to you know your seat's hot, and you know you're probably on your way out of there. And I'm sure they've asked him that question 1,000 times because it's true, dude. You're a defensive-minded coach. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's and the funny thing is, too, it's not just this game. It was the game before against the Lions in which the Chargers, I would say, from their point of view, wasted a brilliant Justin Herbert performance. And then this week they lose again. And this week, though, it wasn't even just all on the defense. Justin Herbert's weapons did not do him any favors. Did you see that Quentin Johnston drop? Did you see that Austin Eckler fumble in the red zone? Did you see that Keenan Allen drop in the end zone? Did you see that Donald Parham drop on 4th down? Sorry, I'm a little bit bitter as someone who likes Justin Herbert.
No, they definitely need to free him, but let's do this. We'll go into, obviously, it doesn't have to be up to me, but let's go into a mailbag, and then we'll figure out what's going on with the CD video, and we can play that going out of there. Yeah. I want to get it. I don't know why it's not working for me, but that video is absolute gold.
Yeah, it is gold. He had some some language in there.
There's some language in there, but
we'll play it. F it. It's a Victory Monday. He went off, and I love CD Deuce, man. He's the battery pack. He kind of hinted at returning too.
Yeah,
he said
in the
2
video
weeks.
he does. That's why I want to. This video's
2 weeks,
fire. 2-3 weeks.
Uh-oh. All right, let's go to break here. When we come back, we'll get to mailbag. Maybe we can get that video working. We can play it for the people here. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at Hamlin Pub because, guys, especially for game day, especially for Lions victories, where else would you want to be other than Hamlin Pub? They got 7 locations, and you can experience for yourself where everyone's a regular. And again, we'll see if we have some more post-game shows over there in Rochester at Hamlin Pub, but it's a great place to be, whether you're going there, game day specials, all Michigan sports. Experience your new favorite pub for all things Michigan sports.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's Chocolate Peanut Butter Thunder Cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live this Thursday for the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market in Shed number 5, and it is going to be a bash starting at 9:30 a.m. until game time. The official Lions tailgate is back and better than ever. How would you like to pregame with Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? Food, beverages, and entertainment all included. Get your tickets online today at bullseyeeventgroup.com or win some from Woodward Sports today. Just subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on IG, and direct message Lions VIP.
You know what time it is, 9:50. It is mailbag. Let's get to as many questions as we can. People are already kind of sending them through. Let's see. Jason says, mailbag, if everything goes right for us, how soon can we clinch the division?
I think
if
week
you
after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, if you win this game, you'll be 9-2, which you clinched essentially a winning season. But I just don't see another team hitting even close to 10 games. So if you get 9-10 wins, I think that's enough to win this division.
Yeah.
I don't see the Vikings winning 9 games. And even then, I think we'll see at the end of the year, but you're probably going to be 2-0 at the worst 1-1 against them. So I think in the next week or two, you can clinch that thing. You got a Bears game coming up again, and then you have the Packers. So you beat those 2 teams, the division's yours.
I think at that point you are pretty much clinched it. If you win
4 games in your division?
If you win this game against the Packers and then you win at Chicago, I think by then, assuming the Vikings don't go on a streak again, I think by then you will have actually mathematically clinched it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Jess says, Mailbag Jeff, wouldn't you agree that the Adam curse has really loved FSU this year? Travis breaks his leg. He's like MSU last year. Boom, they go 5-7. USC kind of blows too now. Yeah, that's fair, Jesse. I think there's some truth to that. Yeah, I mean, it's a travesty with Jordan Travis. That ankle injury was.
Those hip drop tackles are brutal.
Yeah, Mark Andrews went through that.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Do you think they have any, just because you guys know more about college football than I do, just season over at this point most likely as far as natty chances?
For what?
For Florida State?
Oh, yeah. He's out for the season, and they're done.
I don't know if they had anybody behind him that was nice or not.
Tate Roadmaker or whatever. Rodemaker.
Okay. That's a Lucas Klotz guy, right?
Oh, that's definitely Lucas. You know, he performed admirably when he had to come in against North Alabama or whatever.
Bro, that was the other thing that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Jordan Travis got hurt against Northern Alabama. What week are we in for college football?
Second to last regular season week. Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing playing North Alabama, bro?
Yeah.
Makes no sense for
That's
that
fair.
exact reason.
This question, Eduardo Mailbag, the way our secondary has been playing, is it fair to say that we should be worried about Green Bay? They have been low-key moving the ball lately, and they should be motivated after what we did.
Do you not remember Jordan Love at home?
Yeah, I guess what's going to hurt them, Eduardo, I believe, is not having Aaron Jones. That run game, they got Emmanuel Wilson and A.J. Dillon.
I think, though.
I don't know. I think with Aaron Jones, I'd be like, you know what, we'll see, because he's a weapon. He's kind of like the Chargers' Eckler to some extent, not as much production-wise, but he's like that dude. Him not being there, I think the biggest threat to me would be like a Jaden Reed. He's explosive, but I'm not going to sit here and say the Lions should be fearful of Jordan Love and the Packers.
Well, no, not fearful, but I'm not going to lie. Going into the Bears game, there was definitely me and I think a faction of people at Woodward Sports and our fan base that were just like, the Bears. We're like, we don't have to worry about them at all. But the fact that they played them so close means that now that the Packers are coming in, we have to at least be mindful and take them seriously. Do I think the Lions are going to win by double digits? Sure, but I'm not going to puff my chest about it yet.
It's just the Packers, for me, they just don't have any identity. Like, they still don't even know how their offense flows yet. So that's why it's just you're playing against a team with the Lions who know their identity. They've known it since week 1 of the NFL season. Like, that's incredibly important, especially late in the season.
I mean, guys, think about it. Matt Eberflus with the Chicago Bears, defensively, kind of all over the place. Offensively, Matt LaFleur with the Packers, kind of all over the place. If you're a head coach and you specialize in one side of the ball and you can't get it right,
what are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Go back to be a coordinator.
Nick Sirianni, offensive coach. You know what they're going to do in Philly. Andy Reid, offensive coach. Dan Campbell, offensive coach. Now Ben Johnson has a lot to do with that, but still, offensive coach, offense is buzzing. That's how it should be with head coaches. I think the Lions will win this week, but part of me also thinks the Bears, although the record's not the same, I think they have more talent than the Packers in some areas. Like, I think DJ Moore is by far the best receiver.
I get what you're saying. I don't think there's a huge
Cole
gap
Kmet's the best tight end.
Yeah.
Run game without Aaron Jones, oof. I mean, Justin Fields is the best running back in that game.
The gap between the Packers and Bears is a lot closer than I think people give them credit for.
You're probably right there.
I got the CD video, too. We got that working. So whenever you need it, we got it.
Let's play it.
You want it?
Let's do it, yep.
All righty. Here we go. This is exactly why C.J. Gardner-Johnson, CD Deuce, whatever you want to call him, should be staying in Detroit for the rest of his career.
Come on. Hutchinson, that ball is out. Darnell Wright kicks it in back of the end zone. 2 points for Detroit.
Bitch ass nigga. Fuck out of here. You were dancing, now your ass folded. Get your ass out of here, boy. Bitch ass boy. All we do is fucking win. So I be talking to you know the Lions won again. Oh, playing right now. You know the Lions won again. You were doing all that little dancing first down. Thought you was up 14. Get your ass folded. Fuck you thought. Yeah, Aiden. After this song, I'ma need my tickets in the mail. All we do is win. Sorry ass. Get your ass up out of here. Man, shut the fuck up.
A little graphic on the language there,
No,
but you know what?
it.
It's 2023. We're all capable of hearing that type of thing. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, CD Deuce, he's a tone setter. He says in that video as well, 2 or 3 weeks you got to tighten up, so we could see a possible return from him as well very soon, around the same time as James Houston.
Yeah, that's the Fields thing is hilarious. He's like, do that little dance. Fields over there, do a little dance. After that, it was
that's karma.
That's when the Bears plummeted. After he did that stupid ass dance on the sideline after running down.
Stay down until you come up.
Yeah.
And the last thing that Justin Fields has done is come up yet.
Yeah, what's the BAN? I don't understand.
Where are we at?
People putting BAN in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm not the man to be able to say that.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, okay. All right. I got it. Yeah, I got it. All right, we're done. Okay. All right. That's all that matters.
Lions win again.
I'm like, wait, is someone getting banned or what? What's going on? I'm such a dude. I'm so dumb.
It's an acronym.
Yeah,
it's an acronym.
I love that. Yeah, look at me, my white ass. I swear to God. All right, let's go. Jesse says the music makes this video. Is that T Grizzly? Is that a Lions?
No,
video?
that's Polo Frost, I believe his name.
Polo
is.
Frost.
Detroit guy. I could be wrong. It could be mixed
I got to
up
get
with
that
it.
on my playlist, dude.
Yeah.
I need that on Victory Mondays. Polo Frost.
I believe so.
He makes heat. Shout out to him.
Oh yeah, G-Mac Cash. G-Mac Cash. That's his name. G-Mac Cash is the guy. That's who,
okay.
yeah.
G-Mac Cash.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Good call, JB.
All right. All right. Yeah. Give me that song ASAP. I need that.
That
I gotta
sound's
play it in the
always
car.
trending on Mondays on
Okay.
social media. That's how I know.
Derek G says Lions win again. Best song ever. Yeah. G-Mac Cash. That's I need that on the playlist. I do. John Hughes says, bro, I'm from Alaska and I knew that. Get out of here. Damn. John's from Alaska and he knew that song.
I'm going to miss sometimes. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong.
All right.
JB had held me accountable, the voice of reason.
Danny Bennett says Jeff is white, but not Sam Flannel white. Oh, there's.
Oh.
I mean, that's supposed to be an insult.
All right.
I mean, I'm probably the palest one here.
Let's say
you can take it there.
I'll go with it.
Someone says, Franco says Jeff's Macomb County is showing.
Come on.
Man, you guys are funny as hell. I love this chat. Oh, God, you guys are goated. All right, let's get to a question, huh? I mean, that band thing got me, yeah.
Took you down an avenue you didn't think you would, Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah. That was okay, we're back. I'm trying to find some okay, mailbag. Greg Wilson, will the Lions go undefeated through the year, or more specifically in the last 3 games of the year? Cowboys, or Vikes, Cowgirls, and Vikes. I think it's on the table. I would say, if I'm a betting man, no. I think they drop a game. But 14-3 is still damn good. Like that still might win the NFC. That's a credible record. That's crazy. But could they? Yes, they could. But this is the NFL. I think they'll drop one.
Oh, they most certainly could, because what was the buzzword earlier today? The Lions are inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
I think cocaine was last year taking Aiden Hutchinson. 14-3 with the number 1 or 2 seed. Get some booger sugar.
Oh, yeah. I love that. All right, Herb Nash's Jake Bobo report. You got a Jake Bobo update? Speaking of white people, what do you got on Jake Bobo?
Definitely, let's see what Jake Bobo did yesterday, shall we?
Let's check the old box score.
Who did the Seahawks play?
They played the Rams and lost.
Oh, the Seahawks lost yesterday?
Yeah,
oh
they
my
did.
God.
They
Jake
did. They
Bobo?
lost Kenneth Walker mid-game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
I mean, hate to hear it, but wow.
They're about
well,
I thought you were saying wow to his stat line.
Well, I can tell you why the Seahawks lost. Jake Bobo had 1 catch for 8 yards on
that's
2
the
targets.
problem.
Gotta incorporate that man. You're going to lose.
That's the problem. That is the problem. Danny Bennett says, mailbag, do you think people are mistakenly overlooking the Broncos? 4 straight wins, 3 teams over.
Can we stop this?
Guys, I'm not, and I don't think Danny's trying to say they're world beaters, but like.
So they're a mid-team? Okay.
You think the Broncos beat the Bears?
That I was literally going to say those teams are probably on par with each other.
The Broncos did beat the Bears.
There you go.
I'm saying, but was it a blowout? No.
No, it wasn't.
That's the
Hey,
most
hey.
Broncos-Bears.
Okay.
Russell Wilson, bounce back season.
All right.
That's actually true. Don't deny it, people. Don't deny it. Look at the numbers.
If I can get another quarterback, I'm doing it in a heartbeat.
Shot says my fantasy's finished. K9 is out. That's tough, Shot.
Yeah.
That is tough. That's a tough one. Yeah, Kenneth Walker got hurt. I forgot what it was, something oblique or something like that. I forgot the specific injury, but it's not a good one. So Seattle Seahawks, not good. I picked the Rams to win that game though on the on our Friday show, I believe.
Did the Cardinals win?
They did not. They almost did. That would have been my two. That was my 2 upsets.
Yep.
I was 1-1. So yeah, they are. CJ. Hey, speaking of 3 picks, CJ Stroud threw 3 picks.
Yeah,
still won the game.
By the way, Tank Dell went off again.
Hey, Will
Shout out my
Anderson
fantasy
with the
team.
sack. Let's
Did he?
go.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Appreciate you joining us, man. We have the best chat on the entire network. I don't care if you guys carry over and watch other shows. I love you guys. We appreciate you a ton. We're at in Novi at Feldman. Big D Energy's up next, 11 to 1. Ermanni Networks, 2 to 4. Heavyweights, 5 to 7. And, of course, Closure Nights, Woodward Nights, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. From everybody here on the Morning Woodward Show, we thank you. Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, JB, the GOAT, and then Lucas Klotz, the ball knower. We'll be back tomorrow at the studio to give you more of a recap, go into different storylines, go around more of the NFL, react to some of the games, that and much more. We actually have Broder joining us tomorrow, too. We got John Macaroon on Thursday. We got Kool-Aid on Wednesday. We're having one Pistons segment this whole week. We're not the way.
Do we have to? With all due respect to Kool-Aid, I want him on the show.
Maybe we'll just have Kool-Aid on us talk Lions.
Hey, why not?
And he covers the Pistons. All right. We're out of here, guys. Appreciate you. Until tomorrow, we'll catch you.